Hello mysterious family and welcome to Mysterious Mariam. I am Mariam Ahsan. Before starting the video, let me give a fair disclaimer that this video contains some heavy details, so viewer discretion is advised. Let's get started. Ryan Grantham was born in 1998 to Barbara and his father, whose identity is not made public, in Squamish, British Columbia, Canada. He had a younger sister, Lisa Grantham. He practiced acting as a kid and enrolled in schools that specializes acting. Ryan begins working in entertainment industry at the age of 9 in 2007 in The Secret of the Nutcracker. Since then, he had been in numerous TV shows and movies. His best acting role was in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, a 2010 movie, and in Riverdale, which was a famous Netflix show, and his last acting gig as well in 2019. By the end of 2019, world came to a halt due to pandemic and we all had to confine ourselves to our homes. Similar happened to Ryan and his mother. They both were living together. On March 31st, 2020, Barbara, his 64 years old mother, was playing piano when Ryan shot her in the head from the back. He then recorded himself on a GoPro camera, showed his mother's body and described what happens. In the video, he said, "I shot her in the back of the head. In the moments after, she would have known it was me." This video is never made public for the obvious reasons. And by the way, next part of the events from the day of the murder came from Ryan Grantham. So the hours after the murder, he freaked out, wrote in his journal, "I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry, Lisa. I hate myself. There is a lot of media of me out there, film and TV, hundreds of hours of me that can be viewed and dissected. No one will understand." He then went out to get money, marijuana and beer, came home, experimented with making Molotov cocktails and watched Netflix for 2.5 hours with his mother's body laying on the floor. He then covered his mother's body with a sheet and went to bed. Next morning, on April 1st, 2020, he hung a rosary from the piano and arranged lit candles around Barbara's body and left Squamish with his mother's body still where it had fallen, intending to drive 45 hours to Ottawa to kill the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. He then loaded up his car with multiple firearms, Molotov cocktails, camping supplies, and a map to Justin Trudeau's residence where he was living with his family. Before he left, he tested a Molotov cocktail in a remote area. He drove as far as Hope before turning around with thoughts that he would instead commit an act of mass violence at Simon Fraser University where he was a student or any other such location. Somewhere on the way, he suddenly changed his mind once again and turned to Vancouver police headquarters. To turn himself in, he approached an officer sitting in a police car. He told the officer, "I killed my mother." And when asked why he planned to kill the Prime Minister, he said, "I was in the rush and he was the only person I could think of, the most important person in Canada, like I could do something to make an impact." Impact? Like what kind of impact? Anyways, on the other hand, Lisa was trying to contact Barbara, but she was not responding to her calls or texts. Concerned, Lisa came to her mother's house on the evening of April 1st. That's when she found Barbara long gone in the pool of her own blood in front of piano. Ryan initially pleaded guilty with first-degree murder in 2020, but later he pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in 2022 for the murder of his 64-year-old mother and also premeditated a plan to kill Justin Trudeau but did not go along with it. According to British Columbia Prosecution Service, second-degree murder carries a mandatory life sentence. Ryan's 3-day sentence hearing had to begin on June 13th and conclude on June 15th, which under the Criminal Code of Canada, a person convicted of second-degree murder is eligible for parole after a minimum of 10 years and a maximum of 25 years. Grantham's lawyer, Chris Johnson, argued that mental illness contributed to his client's action. He said at the time of the offense, this killing was not done out of hatred or animosity. He said it was done in Mr. Grantham's disordered thinking to prevent his mother from seeing the violence he intended to commit. Referencing 2 psychiatric reports, prosecutor presented the evidence that Ryan was going through an intense depressive episode leading up to killing his mother. He was reported feeling urges to hurt himself and others at around this time, along with escalating feelings of self-hatred and guilt over his mother potentially learning that he had stopped attending classes at Simon Fraser University while maintaining an outward appearance of being well-functioning. Both reports said that he has a cannabis use disorder. In the end, he would kill his mother while also recording a video afterward confessing to the incident. The court heard how Ryan Grantham had rehearsed the killing and even taken videos of rehearsal in which he was pointing gun gun to his mother from the bag, which were shown in the court, including a 4-minute segment captured in the hours after killing in which he confessed to the murder and showed his mother's dead body. Prosecution submitted that in killing Barbara, Ryan Grantham committed a heartbreaking breach of trust. Barbara loved her son very much and was an excellent parent, and in her mind, he had no reason to fear him. While Ryan was an experienced gun user and former gun club member as well. In months leading up to the homicide, he bought a new gun even though he was aware of his struggles with urges to commit violence and killings. And on the day of the murder, he had many chances to reconsider as he loaded and unloaded his rifle and then sat on the stairs of the townhouse for almost 15 minutes, deciding what to do before he got home to shoot his mother. It is important to mention that Ryan Grantham had apologized for his actions and called his mother a caring and compassionate person who he claimed did not deserve this. On the day of his sentencing, Ryan said, "I cannot explain or justify my actions. I have no excuse. It hurts me to think about how badly I have wasted my life. In the face of something so horrible, saying sorry seems so pointless, but from every fiber of my being, I'm sorry." Well, I'm sorry, kiddo. Your sorry is not gonna bring your mom back. In her victim impact statement, Eliza Grantham said her life and career has been devastated by the murder. She said there is no doubt in her mind that her brother is a dangerous person. Ryan's sentencing began on June 13, 2022. I know some of you might be wondering how Prime Minister Justin Trudeau might have reacted to this shocking news, especially since Ryan Grantham had a clear plan to find and harm him. But so far, his team and social media accounts haven't responded to the reports, which I think is absolutely right. I mean, you never know how many people would have done crazy stuff to gain national and PM's attention after that. Ryan was actually not charged with planning to harm the PM. As I always say, mental illness or whatever, killing a person can never be justified. This is it for today's video. Do share your thoughts on the case. Don't forget to subscribe if you liked the video, and I will see you next week. Bye.